Are you looking for a Christmas card that will have your friends saying, how'd you do that? This video will teach you 2 techniques that are sure to impress and wow everyone on your card giving list. All right, today's video will teach you 2 simple techniques that you're gonna use all winter long. What I want you to do is cut 8.5 by 5.5, and then you're gonna fold it in half or score it at 4 1/4. And there's our base card. I am using Granny Apple Green for my card base. Next, I want you to cut a layer, same color, 5 inches by 3 3/4. And this is gonna be a layer for the top of the card base. I was gonna say card box, for the card base. Then I want you to cut a piece of basic white cardstock at 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. And if these are some crazy measurements for you, then you let me know that you would like my crafty ruler and I'll email this to you. Just tell me below you want the ruler. All right, for our next step, we are going to do a little blending with some blending brushes. I've got 2 different sizes and I'm gonna show you how to use them. I am gonna use a little bit of Granny Apple Green just to tie in some of the cardstock color. When we blend, if you've never done this before, you start on the scrap paper off your layer and then come onto your layer. And just keep going around and going around. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm starting with the lighter colors. So this is some Balmy Blue. Here's how you clean your brushes. That's it. That's how you clean your brushes. So now I'm gonna have you start again and come in off your layer and going right onto it. Last but not least, I'm bringing in some Night of Navy Blue. So I'm gonna start off the edge and come on in. Almost looks like a beautiful winter storm. I really like this dark that we're adding here. Are you ready for your first technique? What you're gonna do, I've got some water painters and you're just gonna make sure that the brush part is very drippy. See, I've got the little water drop. I've just squeezed the barrel and there's our water. So then what I want you to do is tap it and flick some of the water. We're gonna get us some drops onto the pretty blending and the pretty ink that we've just done. And we're ready to do a little bit of stamping. So get some scrap paper. I have my silicone mat. Why? Because these stamps are the polymer stamps and they have no padding. So we have to add some padding to them. If you're new to stamping or have a big stamp, this is not a big stamp, but if you're new to stamping, then I recommend you lay down your little baby stamp and ink it up this way. All right, so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna come down, hold it 2 to 3 seconds and lift. Now, if you've seen my Technique Tuesday on Facebook, this is the ink you need. Memento Tuxedo Black is what you need for when we're using blends. What are blends? They're alcohol markers. So we're gonna come back. I'm gonna add some more scrap paper. And let's just do a little bit of coloring just to show you. I use yellow in the windows just so it looks like all the lights are on. You could make it look like there's candle lights in the windows. You don't have to go all the way up. I am using some matchy Granny Apple Green for my wreath, just to have something a little matchy with my cardstock layer. And I can come back. Is this light? This is light. So let me do a little bit of dark. Now, when you order the alcohol markers with me on my online store, these come in pairs. So you get one light, one dark, and it's just mistake proof. It makes you look like you knew what you're doing. Very, very pretty, very, very pretty. Wanted to add a little more. And then let's just do a red bow. Now I made a little mistake. See how I came down a little past where I wanted it to go. So this is called an ink lifter. So I'm gonna come in, let me use my other side. I'm gonna come in and it's gonna lift the ink away. It's almost like an eraser for alcohol markers. It'll just lift the color enough that you can come and color back over it with the magic of TV. Ba-bam! So we have stamped, we have colored with our blends, and I've actually fussy cut. I've left some of the bottom because I'm gonna cover up some of our card at the bottom with some of what is not cut out with our church. So our next step, we've done that. I want you to cut a strip 3 5/8 by 1 inch. And you can see it's the width of the card by 1 inch. So we're gonna come back with our water painter. And what I want you to do is on the top part, you're gonna get the top part wet. Why are we doing this? It's gonna make it easier to rip. It's gonna weaken the fibers. And if you come down a little bit, that is fine because we don't want it straight across. And if it's got a little dip, that's even better. Rip it up and over towards you because you can see you get the nice little tears that make it look more like snow versus this side that's almost too neat and tidy. So you want it to lift up and look like snow. Then you're gonna come in with one of your blends and just a little bitty bit on the edges, rough up your edges a little, but then come back and just along the top, a little bitty bit. You're gonna add a little bit of color because we want it to look a little bit like snow. Our next step, so this was your technique too, where we wet the paper and colored the paper, and now we're gonna adhere it down, but first we're gonna adhere our little pretty, our church down. This is the stamp set I used, Yuletide Village. Now, I will tell you, you must enjoy fussing cutting or not mind it for this particular stamp set because it's just a stamp set. There's no dies. And before I adhere it down, just kind of eyeball where it's gonna go, and then I'm gonna eyeball this. Very nice. So you're gonna adhere this flat as well. I'm tickled with it. So let's come back and I'm gonna bring back in our layer and our base. Are you having fun? I want you to go like this, go boop, and hit the thumbs up button and let the algorithm know that you are enjoying this video. And all right, so we just adhered that down flat. So now, a little trick of the trade, let's come in here with some dimensionals, and we're gonna pop this bad boy up, give it a little dimension with some dimensionals, and it'll go flat onto our base. All right, now I've got it all dimensionaled up, and I'm gonna lay it down on the card base, and it just gives it a little dimension. I'm gonna turn it around for you, see what you think. Now let me bring some of the other cards in. I've got this one, and I've got this one we just made, and then I've got, here's another technique for you where you can just, with your layer, the white layer, instead you can use some embossing and then come in and do a die cut with a circle. So look at the difference. It's the same technique, but you've done a cutout of your technique. That's it. So I want you to have a couple options, and I want you to vote what's your favorite, and let me know how you like this stamp set too. Now, would you like a free PDF tutorial? Join my mailing list. I am going to email this to you as soon as possible. What do you think of today's techniques? You've got the water droplets, you've got the ripped paper. Are you going to do this? Remember the 3 things. I want you to go boop and hit the like button. I want you to remember to follow Dee Creates Crafts, and I want you to remember to tell me which of the 2 techniques you like the best. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye now.